The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated. Reproduction or dissemination, other than for the purpose of education or information without the express written permission of the Phoenix Research Institute or Nova Society Media, is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to the Nova Society. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, and I'm here with the panel, your favorites, Dr. Scott Gershwer and Dr. Mark Bound. Today, the panel will be answering listener emails, and we have a question from Debbie. Debbie lives in Tampa, Florida, and Debbie asks, I'm a nurse, and I hear that RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr., wants to ban the polio vaccine as well as other vaccines. Does RFK Jr. have the power to make this a reality? And if so, how can he be stopped? He will have the power to make that a reality as far as I'm aware. And I don't know how he can be stopped if he is successful in being nominated once he has control of the CDC and the National Institute of Health and the other branches of our public health system.
Yeah. So, and it's not just RFK Jr., right? Trump chose for his CDC director, which he's been really bad at in the past, by the way, picking CDC directors, Dave Weldon, who has made many comments over the years about vaccines and has repeatedly promoted the idea that vaccines cause autism and routinely emphasizes the experiences of people while dismissing dozens of studies that are based on data from hundreds of thousands of people that show no link between vaccines and autism. It is, I don't know what to say about it. We're entering a very strange period of time when RFK's advisor and attorney, Aaron Siri, is trying to get rid of the polio vaccine. RFK himself has said that the polio vaccine may have killed more people than polio ever did, and the truth doesn't matter, and the sky is actually below us, and the day is night, and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, where does this go? How does it all happen? You don't have to outlaw the polio vaccine. You can simply convince people who are easily convinced by you that they shouldn't agree to be vaccinated, have their children vaccinated. And you can reduce the use of stuff, vaccines, medicine, all kinds of stuff, simply by discrediting them and putting it out there on the internet and amplifying it and again and again and again. And having the craziest people among us, literally sabotaging federal vaccine programs and research and bombing and, I guess my imagination can run away with this one, but, and I don't know why it's happening. But it's happening.
Yeah. Does he have the power to do it unilaterally? No, he does not. But as Scott says, he can put out as much disinformation as he likes to discredit the vaccines, polio, and all the rest of them. Now, the fact is that this would be a really hard road. Every child that enters into grade school has to be vaccinated. So he's going to have to get all of the schools and all of the precedent that has been set throughout the years. They're going to have to get them to say, okay, we're going to allow a kid to come in without vaccination. And that doesn't work real well. There's been fights over the idea of, religious freedoms where certain sects do not believe in vaccinations. And there's been court fights on and on about that. And it's generally been upheld that the good of society outranked the good of the single. The other battle he's going to have to fight is with the pharmaceutical companies. Good luck with that. That's a very, very powerful group, and fighting against the pharmaceutical companies. And this, I mean, vaccinations are not their bread and butter, but it's a part of their bottom line. He's going to get quite a lot of pushback there. And it's just the only thing I could say about this is that if school districts say, and they bend to the pressure and they say, okay, fine, we're not going to have vaccinations. Don't come crying when your kid in third grade ends up having polio or smallpox or measles or any one of these other, because you, once again, just like voting for Trump, you wanted this. Now there's consequences for it. There are consequences for it. And hopefully a large number of the population does, even those that have drank the Trump Kool-Aid, will not understand the value of this. We all have all of those vaccinations. We had to have them. You had to have those vaccinations. Another thing that is going to impact this is travel abroad. A lot of countries require that you have these vaccinations to travel abroad. So if you're working for a multinational company, and you have to travel to that company, let's say Germany's headquarters, and you're one of these anti-vax people, you're not going. And that might affect your bottom line. So, yeah, I mean, this is, again, unilaterally, he does not have the power to do it. He can put out the misinformation. He can discredit because of the position that he is in. But the fact is that this would be hard. He's going to have a lot of obstacles standing in front of him, and I don't think he can get it done in 4 years. I think the pharmaceutical companies are going to be first online to stand up and say this is just stupid. And then again, you've got schools, you've got foreign travel. There's just too many obstacles to it. I just don't see it. It's going to create a discussion, and a lot of us will say it's going to create a really stupid discussion from those people who, moms for liberty or whatever, moms for not vaccinating or whatever the heck they're going to be for. Okay, fine. You're going to see a group pop up, guaranteed somewhere, who are moms against something, and that's that again. Now we're just going to have to listen to more stupid people, and that's a shame because there's plenty of stupid people in Congress we have to listen to, and we have a president that's a stupid person that we have to listen to. So, just more stupid people to just add to the fire, add wood to the fire.
So then, Mark. I'm sorry, Scott. So then, Mark, I'm incorrect then in saying yes, he has the power to do it if he's in charge of of these various agencies. And what about if the Department of Education is dismantled? What about red state governors who might be very happy to go along with this? I mean, I can see that they would just say, "Oh yeah, well, whatever."
Well, again, there's all sorts of possibilities. Yes, he does not unilaterally have the power to say vaccinations are done. He just that is not a power that he has. Let's remember, he is in the executive branch. Anything that he tries to do has to go before hearings and public comment and all of these other things. He's not the Congress. He can't make a law. He cannot just get rid of anything. And that's a process. That's a process. Red state governors, who knows what they're going to do? But again, you'll find that a lot of these school districts, many of the larger ones, are pretty autonomous. I mean, yes, there's a state education director, absolutely, in all the states, no doubt about it. We saw the one in Oklahoma trying to make everybody have the Trump Bible. How did that work out for him? Didn't work out real well. Did not work out. And to say to these schools with professionals who have worked within the school district for a lot of years, we're not going to have people come in and be vaccinated. You're going to see a lot of teachers leave. They're going to say, hey, I don't want to be in this. Let's face it. Kids are germy anyway. I mean, they're germy little things. And now you're going to make it an even bigger petri dish. No, I'm sorry. No, I just can't see. I could see, again, there's going to be a lot of conversation about it. There's going to be a lot of stupid conversation about it. You're going to have organizations that are going to stand up against this. One of the things that Rotary International is about eliminating polio throughout the world. That's a big organization. That's a powerful organization. They're going to stand up against this. I mean, you're going to have organizations that are just not going to accept this because they have people that are serious and sensible in them, and they're going to stand up and say, this is just stupid. I don't see MD after RFK Jr.'s name. Even if I did, because of course they say that, the person that finishes last in medical school is still called doctor. Oh, yeah, that's true too. But again, it's going to be up to the medical community to step up. The American Medical Association is going to have to step up, and they're going to have to fight the tide and not buckle under, because now we're talking about our children. And we're talking about some very serious diseases that in the 20th century we were able to eradicate. And this yo-yo wants to get rid of all of the vaccinations that protected our youth and everybody else for so very, very long. And he wants to get rid of all that and take us back to the 18th century, all on data that is complete and absolute nonsense. So no, I understand the concern of the question from a nurse. I get it, but no, this is going to be there. He's going to have a gauntlet to go through to make this a reality.
Scott?
Could I say something about liberal education rather than an education that is designed to help you with your with your career when you get out? Would be that people who didn't want to take science classes, people who said, I don't need this, I'm not going to be a scientist or a doctor or anything like that, are now the same people who are like, hey, there's microchips that are spying on you and vaccines and things like that. I mean, it's just the total stupidization of America, and probably goes back to education.
I did see a really great cartoon this past week. Somebody sent it to me, and it's an older man. He's laying in his bed. He's on his deathbed. His family's around him, and the doctor stands over him and says, "Sir, you only have about another hour to live." And he goes, "Hooray, I made it. I never used algebra once in my life." These are the people we're dealing with.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
So thank you for the question. And thank you so much to all our listeners. And we will see you again next time on the Nova Society.
We'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, the Phoenix Research Group, an independent research consortium offering social political issue solutions to NGOs and international government agencies through multidisciplinary, nonpartisan, and unbiased research. Phoenix Research Group is a division of the Phoenix Research Institute, which is also the producer of the Nova Society podcast. And that's all the time we have for today's episode. The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We'd like to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing partners, Apple iTunes, the largest source of podcasts and music on the internet, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your source for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. We'd like to thank all of our listeners. Without you and your support, the Nova Society would not be possible. If you have a question or comment, we can be reached at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So for Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Priscilla Hobbs, Dr. Scott Gershwer, and for all of us here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power in society is knowledge. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you again next time.